Hi, my name's Lauren Farraker, and I am the host of the Woof Life podcast. If it's your first time here, we are a podcast that is dedicated to everything dog. Let's see what we have in store this week. Hi there. Welcome back to the Woof Life Show. We're so excited to have you here. Today, our episode is going to be talking with Christine Nendick, who runs Rescue in Style. If you're unfamiliar with Rescue in Style, it is such a brilliant concept, and Christine is such a beautiful person, both inside and out. Her entire concept behind Rescue in Style is that she takes photos similar to a fashion or a lifestyle blogger. So it's gorgeous Instagram. Love it. You get to see Chicago and the surroundings, but it's done. Every single photo is taken with an animal that is up for adoption. So it's really, really giving back in an absolute incredible way that is not narcissistic or anything that you might associate with the term blogger, which we do talk about. I had an opportunity to talk to her when I was in Chicago, and we did this interview in my hotel room, and she was just so gracious, and we had so much fun, and I'm so grateful to her for her time. The one thing I wanted to explain really quick is at parts there were some microphone issues, so I am very, very quiet. So I've dubbed over the top so that Christine can be heard and it doesn't interfere with the interview. Christine has so much going on that she does. She manages an account with a large social media following. She coordinates with rescues to actually help in the operations of supporting and saving these dogs, and manages a site and does all of that to also get the word out to help these animals get adopted. And so I asked her how she got into this and what was the catalyst that made her want to devote her life to rescue in this way.
Through high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I wanted to be a veterinarian in the worst way. So I went to the University of Illinois. I studied veterinary medicine for a full semester, and then when it came time for my lab classes, like the dissection part, I passed out in front of like my entire class. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I passed out again during a surgery at the vet clinic. So I quickly realized that, unfortunately, vet school would probably not be the right path for me. So I switched to psychology, and I graduated on time, with the semester behind. And then I still loved animals, so I volunteered at a bunch of different shelters and rescues. And then I was scrolling through Instagram now 2.5 years ago, and I saw a fashion blogger, and she posted about her dog, and her dog was from a breeder, and it was a really cute dog, and she has great style. And I saw this huge platform for rescue that no one really had explored yet. So yeah. I was kind of like this crazy vision just came to me of me with dogs in fashionable outfits and trying this new platform for dogs and cats and any other animals that need rescue. Kind of a way to share rescue with a new group of people by focusing on things like not just the dog or not just the cat, but you know, kind of bringing a new brand focus into it.
When I first saw Christine's Instagram, which is Rescue in Style, I thought to myself, this is the best of Instagram, and this is such a great platform that you could use to actually do good. I then talked to Christine about her brood at home. So she, like me, has 2 cats and 1 dog. And so we start to chat about that and learn more about her pets at home.
Uh, so my husband and I got married 3 years ago, and we just
Congrats.
thank you, just celebrated 3 years, and we really wanted to give ourselves like a year of no responsibility. So we wanted to travel, kind of do our own thing, not have to worry about a pet and babysitting. So we made that about 6 months, and then I saw a post on the local anti-cruelty website, and I saw a post begging for kitten fosters because we were coming into February this time.
Okay.
And starting to come into kitten season. So I said, oh, you know what? Like, we're not cat people. So let's foster some kittens, and then we'll give them back, and then it'll be springtime, and then we can have a dog. So, yeah. So I fostered 3 kittens named Mac, Roni, and Cheese.
Oh,
yeah.
my gosh.
You know all my favorite things now. So they were about 5 weeks old. There were 3 of them. Unfortunately, little Mac passed away during fostering. Yeah, that was like probably the hardest thing I've done. But so I said, well, I'm obsessed with Roni and Cheese still, and I bonded really hard with them. So I didn't give them back. So I foster failed.
I
foster failed really hard. I even scheduled their surgery, ready to give them back. Like I really to the shelter for them to get adopted. But when it came time to drop them off, I just emailed them and I said, no, I can't. So you can still spay and neuter them, but they're coming back to my house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So then I became obsessed with cats.
Yeah.
They were my first 2 cats. I grew up with dogs. So this has been a very interesting journey. And my 2 cats are so ridiculous. Cheese is a big orange tabby cat.
Okay. I then ask Christine how much her cat weighs.
Cheese is probably about 15 pounds, but he's just he's just tall. He's I think he's part Maine Coon because he's very fluffy.
Oh.
I don't really know the whole cat breeds, but I do believe he's part Maine Coon. So he's just a big old tabby orange kitty, and he has the personality of like a dog mixed with the most narcissistic person.
Oh, wow.
He loves everything about himself, attention. He thinks he's a dog, so he begs at the door to go outside. He'll throw my pens around for me while I'm working. Yeah, he makes me laugh, cry, and scream every day. Typical cat, I think, right? Cheese in my Instagram stories every day, and I get more responses to that than anything else because he's just so utterly ridiculous. And then Roni, of course, she's the most beautiful cat I've ever seen. She's this long, fluffy haired Torby girl, beautiful green eyes, and she just sits there and she loves my husband, and she'll let him pick her up and play with her, and then she just kind of looks at me and like, nah. So she's beautiful, and that's what she does in life, and she loves to eat. So
wow,
she lives her best life every day.
Nice.
Yeah, and then a year or so after that, we finally got the dog, and we rescued a greyhound. Her name is Rawlings. She's 4 years old now. She was 3 when we got her, and she was a race dog down in Florida at Daytona. So,
wow.
And she is goofy. She's goofy. She is living her best retired life, is what I can say. She loves the couch and her slumber ball, and she just is belly up on the couch day after day. So,
wow.
Yeah, we between the 3 of them, it's just quite the ridiculous crew.
I then talked to Christine about Rawlings, her greyhound. Greyhounds are such a great dog to adopt, but there are some things due to their fast nature that you have to know before you do adopt a greyhound.
They're big flight risks, and you're not going to catch them because they're the fastest land mammal. So you're not going to, they take off.
Okay.
Certainly me. I'm not a runner here, so I'm screwed. Yeah, greyhounds, they're fast, but they're lazy as all hell. They are basically big couch potatoes. They don't require a whole lot, which is kind of the reason, we wanted a greyhound is, first of all, I love the way they look. I mean, they're beautiful
They're
animals.
beautiful.
They're beautiful. And then when I got to know their personalities, they're quirky, they're a little awkward, and they're just kind of lazy bums. You know, as long as you have a couch, they'll be your best friend. And yeah, we kind of, I mean, obviously when I was searching for a dog to adopt, I had quite a few on the you know, that I loved. And
Totally.
we actually met, I think, 6 greyhounds that were available for adoption. And then
Wow.
Rawlings kind of chose us. You know, she's kind of like, yeah, you're mine.
Oh,
Mostly to my husband. She
wow.
was obsessed with my husband when we met her. Yeah. So, but greyhounds are great. I mean, they're great apartment dogs. They don't bark very much generally. They're low shedding.
Oh, wow.
They're
That
pretty
sounds
lazy.
nice.
They only need like 3 to 4 walks a day, and they're pretty content to just stay at home and chill. So yeah, that's kind of
That's a nice apartment dog.
it's a great apartment dog. I highly recommend, with everything going on in the racing industry now, looking into adopting a dog because they're a greyhound because they're pretty great.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's when Christine first started her business, it was called Rescue Runway, and she converted it to Rescue in Style. And I wanted to ask about what that transformation has been like.
Yeah. So I relaunched and rebranded. I started off with the Wix website, which great, but a little basic. And like I said, I loved it, but it didn't give me any flexibility. I don't know if you've had Wix before.
I
You seem to know a lot about it.
Not a sponsorship for Wix, but yes.
So they're
Yes.
great. It was a great platform from the beginning, but then I got to a point where I just like it wasn't giving me the functionality I needed.
It's not maybe as flexible as
Yes.
what you want.
Yes, so I switched
As
over to
site.
WordPress.
Okay.
Hashtag not sponsored, but sponsor me. So I knew I wanted to create a new website, and when I was Googling, you know, the Rescue Runway, which was my original name, a couple other things came up that was traffic-wise, it just wasn't, I wasn't separating out. I was kind of lost on Google, so I needed to separate myself out, give myself a different platform and an easier way for people to find me. So Rescue in Style kind of made a little bit more sense in the terms of it. You know, it's a play on words like rescuing in style, rescue and style. You know, however you want to take it, it works. So yeah.
I then talked to Christine about how this idea of rescuing in style really came to life and what that process was like.
Yeah, so once I saw that no one was kind of doing this crazy idea of combining fashion and adoptable pets, I said, okay, well, I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
And luckily, I was really familiar with Anti-Cruelty Society. I had volunteered there on and off, and they're great. They're really opening, welcoming, and my friend happened to be a shelter manager.
Oh, okay.
So that was really the reason that I was like, okay, I feel comfortable starting here because if I fail, it's fine. My friends know me, and they'll still love me despite it.
It makes sense that Christine was adding so much value to these rescues because she's also creating such great photos.
Yeah,
Of those dogs that would exist.
absolutely,
otherwise.
absolutely. So yeah, so I literally just dressed up one day and I showed up Anti-Cruelty, and they have a little courtyard, and I walked around it pretending like I knew how to model. I've never modeled, never been a model. That sounds like a great lifestyle, but not what I chose. And so I kind of just like went with it, and I did Anti-Cruelty for pretty much like just Anti-Cruelty just for 3 or 4 months while I was building up my platform, kind of figuring out my voice, my tone,
Got it.
and kind of also establishing myself as someone who's just really in it for the animals and not just wanting to be Instagram famous or wanting to just have nice pictures of myself.
Christine and I then start to chat about the fact that some bloggers are really looking for 15 seconds of fame, and Christine's approach is using a platform to highlight rescues, bring additional light to these rescue dogs, and also support in their adoption. So there's a real clear distinction in terms of her mission.
Yeah. I wanted to create a space where I was featuring adoptable dogs, talking about things that are important to dog and cat owners and people interested in adopting or had never adopted before.
Yep.
And then also making it approachable and having good pictures for these rescues. So from Anti-Cruelty Society, a couple of people have found me on Instagram and reached out. One of the biggest rescues to reach out first was one of my favorites, a live rescue.
Okay.
I still work with them. I love them. They're great. And they kind of, opened up a lot of doors for me, I will say. They were really respected in the community, so they introduced me to a few, and then from there, I worked with a lot of big rescues and a lot of small rescues. And my only caveat when I work with a rescue is that they treat the animals right, and they do right by the animals. And I'm 300 followers, 300,000 followers. I don't care. It's about, it's I want to spotlight the organizations that are really doing really well by the animals.
Our conversation then pivots into Christine being located and having her business based in Chicago. What has that really meant? Because Chicago has such a thriving rescue community and such a great dog community. So what is that city and the differentiation of having rescue so built into the fabric of the dog community meant for her mission?
That's right. Yeah. The rescue, I mean, the good news from rescue is that Chicago is full of amazing women, mostly women, and there are some amazing men in rescue as well. And these women are taking over and getting shit done, and it's awesome to see. And it's something you want to be a part of. It's a welcoming community in Chicago. There's women, no matter your background or what you really want to get involved with, there's a rescue out there for you. And totally. I think that's kind of a big part of it is it's this culture and a community that we're creating in Chicago. And obviously, as a result, animals are being saved. And we're really lucky. We're able to bring animals up from other states and other shelters that have a really high euthanasia rate in their city shelters, and we're able to help them and work on this together. I mean, it's a whole, it's not just Chicago, it's beyond Chicago. And we're lucky enough where, not that we are in a perfect place, but we're getting there, and we're working together to kind of create this no-kill Chicago and a no-kill country.
One thing that the Chicago rescue community is so good about, for those that are not aware, is actually transporting animals from the South that would have far worse of a chance for adoption to Chicago, where it is a very big and thriving dog community. And so that transport is literally saving thousands of lives and a part of what sets the Chicago rescue scene up.
We're really lucky. Like I said, we still have work to do in our own city shelters and, breed legislation and getting, pit bull type dogs out of our city shelters and backyard breeding. But, we are in a position where there's puppies being euthanized in Alabama and Oklahoma, and they'll be adopted in 3 days here in Chicago. So, and kittens and any kind of breed of dog that really just is going to flourish here. Yeah. And we're in the space where we're able to do that. And I think we're really lucky. And I volunteer at our city shelter. So I see both ends. I see the transports coming up, and I see the dogs in our city shelters that need homes too. So, it's all a balance. And I think we're doing a really good job, as best of a job we can with it.
We then begin to talk and have a conversation about pit bulls, which is something that I'm passionate about because it is a breed that has so much prejudice against it. And so I talked to Christine as someone who takes a lot of photos with pit bulls about how she, past just what she does with her photos, would advocate for that breed to people that do have a bias against them.
So, yeah. Absolutely. So I think I met pit bull type dogs when I was in high school volunteering at Heartland Animal Shelter. So I had never really had that stigma. Obviously I knew that they were used in dog fighting, but because I was introduced to them early on, I didn't really have that. And so now it's common to run into it, obviously, that people are, afraid, or they believe these dogs are born with it. And, I think my theory, my personal belief is that I volunteer at Chicago Animal Care Control, where we are inundated with, blocky-headed, medium, large-sized dogs that most people would classify as a pit bull. Yep. And I have had nothing, there's been nothing but fun with those dogs. I think what I would say is you can't judge any breed by their characteristics, or their classic quote-unquote characteristics. Each dog is an individual, just like each person, you know? So really just get out of your comfort zone. Go meet a pitty down at one of your local shelters and take it out and you'll find what I have found is they're the biggest babies.
They have. For those of you who listen to the podcast, you've heard me refer to pit bulls with the Julia Roberts smiles and Dorcosaurus rexes. And so I share my opinion with Christine about that. Also discuss our mutual belief that pit bulls shouldn't be shown in cages or presented in that way because it's not a true reflection of their personality or how they should be presented.
We just renamed them. Rebrand.
They're absolutely incredible, but they're also I appreciate that when I look at a lot of your photos, I see a lot of pits.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm being honest, that's what needs homes. I mean, people are it's twofold. People are more hesitant to adopt them in general, and then on the other hand, there's a lot of terrible building restrictions and breed restrictions here that it's really hard to find pit bull friendly housing in Chicago. I'm lucky where I own my place, so there's no breed restrictions on my building, but a lot of buildings do, and that's where we run into a lot of issues where even if someone wants to adopt a pit bull, they get home with the dog and the landlord sees it, that's too much like a pit bull, and what is a pit bull? Is it an American Pit Bull Terrier? Is it a Staffordshire Terrier? So it's kind of twofold. There's a lot of them that need homes, and I always joke, and I love every animal, but I always joke that I will gladly take out any pity type dog from the city shelter cages. But if someone asks me to take out a little Chihuahua, I am like, let me get a more experienced handler because I don't know how to read Chihuahuas as well as I know how to read a bigger dog. I am not afraid to handle a bigger dog, but a little dog that I know it's got a little sassiness, I'm gonna question that.
The next question that I asked Christine is what she would tell someone that really has a desire for a doodle or a Frenchie and really a designer dog, and they have no malintent. They just really have their heart fixated on those adorable faces. And let's be honest, that doodle face is extremely hard to compete with in terms of cuteness. And so what advice she would give to someone to consider adopting?
Yeah. So first of all, I will say that there are breed-specific rescues, and I have seen golden doodles come through our city shelters and come through rescue, and even puppies. So they are out there. So first, I would express if you really are dying for a golden doodle, go look on the internet, go to Pet Finder, click in golden retriever, you'll see what populates.
Yeah.
Now, I would also encourage you to go meet some dogs at your local shelter. And if you are a true dog lover, you're going to fall in love. Yeah. I mean, I was obviously drawn to the greyhound look, but now that I have my greyhound, I want my pitty, I want my chihuahua, I want all the different dogs. I want my mutt, and I think it's really about that connection. And I think that's really more important in the end of the day than how your dog looks, because you could have the most beautiful dog, but if you don't have that connection, you're just not going to appreciate it and that bond as much as you possibly could. So I would challenge someone who says, I want to adopt X breed, to go to your city shelter before you buy a dog. Please don't buy a dog ever. But go to your city shelter and go meet like 3 dogs. You'll find, or go. It doesn't have to be a shelter. You could be a rescue. It doesn't. You can go wherever you're comfortable. Meet a couple dogs, and if you can't come out of there after meeting like 5 dogs with a dog that you love or a dog that you'll be open to meeting again, then I would say okay, then we'll go breed specific rescue for you.
Our conversation continues to demystify the fact that you can find designer dog breeds through the rescue system. Jess, who runs Real Dog Moms of Chicago, actually has 2 doodles that she's adopted and rescued. And so we discuss a little bit more about that process and how someone can approach, and even if you do have a designer dog, how you can also support the cause.
Yes, it takes a little bit more. I always ask people, I think people often end up going to buy a dog because rescue is a little bit harder, right? It takes a little bit more effort. You have to have a little bit more patience. But if you're willing to put in the effort and patience, I promise you will find the perfect dog for you.
All steps.
Right. You don't have to be someone who's already adopted or rescued in order to start getting involved or start adopting or start rescuing.
Totally.
You know, I think I grew up with purebred labs.
Okay.
That was what my family had. That's what we loved. And, you know, they were shipped to us on an airplane, which is, you know, I would never do that to a dog now, but that was, you know, what we did. And I am now this huge advocate for going to find a dog that needs a home versus buying one. And I think anyone can find their right dog if they just give it that time and energy.
I then asked Christine if she believes whether the relationship that a rescue dog has with its owner is different from that of someone who buys a dog from a breeder.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I think that's kind of, I mean, you're nail on the head. There's this weird sense of, there's this, like you said, I can't describe it, but there's this definitely this different bond. Having had dogs that I bought and having had rescued my own, you know, there is a very unique aspect to it. And I think knowing that you also stepped in, or this dog may have passed, you know, been euthanized, it's really unique. And I also forgot to mention on my last little note, but some of my best friends have bought dogs, and they still find a way to support rescue now.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it's education, a lot of it's not being aware of everything that's happening. And I think slowly with social media and you know, our new generation of, I think we're a really good generation of wanting to give back, that I think we're becoming a little bit more socially conscious. And I think that is really important, that you can, you know, you can start supporting rescue in a bunch of different ways.
Christine then gives her advice on how people can support the cause of rescue, no matter the story of their dog's background, being a rescue or not. A love dog is a love dog, and that's the priority to us. But ensuring that you're thinking about those dogs and helping to prevent euthanasia rates is very important.
A button for my follow, like for friends and family to press, because it takes literally 2 seconds of effort.
Yep.
And now you've shared to your social pages an animal that needs a home, and you never know in your Facebook friends from high school which one of their parents wanted to adopt a border collie, you know, mix. So the share button is my favorite way to be like, very non-committal, doesn't take much time, no money, not a ton of effort. So yeah, I highly recommend that share button.
Very, very important.
Yeah.
It's very important.
It's actually how my first foster dog found its home.
Oh, wow.
My foster dog, his name was Sycamore. It's now Patrick, and he is a 14-year-old Irish setter.
Wow.
And he is an amazing. I say was because he's no longer with me, but he's still alive. Yeah. He's still like 14 years old. He's like the youngest dog I've ever met. Yeah.
Wow.
And I posted him on my Facebook, and he got 500 shares. And the most fantastic, perfect couple who are retired and used to show and breed Irish setters. Now they rescue them, and they're therapy dogs. They saw his post, and they adopted him, and they live in a ranch, so it's perfect for a senior. It's like, it could not be more perfect because so many people shared his story and his picture, and he found the perfect home.
I then ask her if there's any other stories that she wants to share that just leave her very inspired and keep her wanting to continue on her mission of what she's built, and then her also nonprofit.
I recently started a nonprofit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. With 2 other women in rescue, Margaret Frazier and Tara Majid.
Wow.
Yes. So, and what started that was a dog named Thurston. And he is the best dog. He was posted, back in February, he was posted to the transport page saying, I need to get out of this shelter. I have pneumonia. If I don't get out by 7 p.m., medically, I can't go on. So I will be euthanized. So this was, I think, at 4:00 that I was scrolling through Instagram, and I saw his picture pop up, and I see plenty of pleas.
Yeah.
And it's hard to see them all sometimes, but sometimes these dogs just,
it
pops. Something, I don't know why. I don't know what it was about him, but I saw him and I said, I need to get this dog out of here. I need to get that dog rescued right now. So I contacted Margaret, my friend Margaret, who is amazing, and she found a isolation foster, so a foster home with no other dogs, so that because he's sick, he didn't want to get contagious. And then we worked with Chicagoland Bully Breed Rescue, and I talked to the founder there. I used my connections, my network, and I said, I have this really great dog. I have a really good solid foster. Will you please pull him out of our city shelter? This is probably at 5:00. And she did. She pulled Thurston, and then our third friend, Tara, who also started the rescue or the nonprofit with us, she transported him that day to an hour and a half away to an animal hospital.
Oh my gosh.
And so that was like the start of our or charity, our nonprofit, and it was also one of my favorite stories because my favorite thing about rescue is that you see so many people working together to save one animal. And it was a lot of people working together for this one dog. There were a lot of people behind the scenes, the transfer team, the rescue, the foster, the three of us. And he's really one of my favorite stories. He's now happily adopted. He had really bad pneumonia, like really bad. The vet was like, this is one of the worst cases I've seen. And he made a full recovery. And now he's living like in the suburbs, the full fenced in yard, and he's the goofiest, wiggliest boy, and such a good dog. So
that's incredible. Hi there. I wanted to take a quick break that is provided by our sponsor, Neptune & Co. Neptune & Co. is an incredible company that their primary focus is giving back. They have combined design and are creators of incredibly attractive, fashionable, and modern dog leashes, bandanas, and collars that don't look like they are from the 90s. I personally have the pastel pooch from Pixie, and I get people stopping me all the time to ask me where I got their leash. Past their incredible designs, one of the things that I love the most about Neptune & Co. is their desire to give back. Think of them as a Tom's for Dog Leashes, where with every purchase, you're actually giving back to rescues. So every month they're picking a different rescue and they're actually donating their product to rescue dogs and to the organizations to help them style the dogs and help and support in their adoption as well as making monetary donations. I'm so excited for them. I think it's such a great business, and I'm so excited to have them as a partner of the Woof Life Show. Check them out at neptuneandco.com and on Instagram at Neptune & Co. Add the code TheWoofLife when you're checking out from Neptune & Co., and you're going to get 20% off your purchase of Neptune & Co. Enjoy your adorable bandanas, leashes, and thank you for giving back to dogs in need. I asked Christine how it feels going back to earlier in the conversation when we chat about how she wanted to be a veterinarian, and she clearly has a very sciencey brain, and how it feels that she is now using more of her creative brain, and would she have ever anticipated that?
yeah, no, I have always considered myself a very well-rounded person.
Okay.
I don't excel in anything. Like my older brother is brilliant.
Okay.
He would walk into a physics test and like figure it out on the test.
Wow.
Yeah, and then my little brother is a state championship goalie, hockey goalie. Yeah, I have always been good at everything. So I love math and science, and I'm good at them.
Yeah.
But I'm also like okay at. I was a gymnast, so that's a little creative, maybe. I was never a great gymnast. I was an okay gymnast. But yeah, I think the funny part about this now is that it's taking I didn't really believe in the universe. I was not that kind of person. I was, like I said, very scientific, like minded, but every single skill set I have
Yeah.
is currently being used. Like from previous jobs that I've had for like 6 months to my current job, everything that I learned, I am utilizing in my skill set. Don't get me wrong, I'm still learning a ton. But, the universe has really presented this to me, and I feel like this is just what I'm meant to be doing.
I marvel at the fact that Christine kind of created this to see, because she realized that something didn't exist and decided that she was going to do it, and it's really turned into a life's mission, and she's affected the lives of so many different people and animals, and that's only going to continue as she continues to grow her business and the influence of her nonprofit as well. And so we discuss a little bit about that because I think it's just so fortuitous when the universe looks after you and presents you with an opportunity. The fact that the work that you're doing helps dogs, cats,
Bunnies, horses.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, horses. Oh, horse rescue's a whole thing. Got another hour because I could talk to you about that. But yes, I am very lucky to feel like I have found what I've been meaning to find my entire life.
Wow. Yeah. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Because I do feel that the universe shows you.
Yes.
And you have to listen.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I could have sat in that bed and scrolled through Instagram, saw a fashion blogger with her dog, and I could have thought, oh, that'd be cool if someone did it, and kind of scrolled on. But I was like, well, why can't I do it?
Yeah.
No one else is doing it. Why not me?
I then asked Christine kind of a loaded question, which I now look back and I kind of feel bad about. But I asked her, how it feels because she's actually could be compared to a fashion blogger, which at times they can be semi-narcissistic, very self-promoting, all of those things. Christine is none of those things, and she's using a platform. She's gorgeous, and she can take great photos, and she has great style, but that's not the purpose because her purpose is helping animals. So we discuss the impact that she has that way and how she feels about herself as compared to other people who call themselves fashion bloggers.
Yes. I say I am a dog blogger with the side of fashion. The fashion really is just kind of like the hook. It's something that makes rescue palatable for people who aren't in rescue. It's something that they could come and see this like girl in cute outfits and be like, oh, that's a cute dog. I didn't realize that dog was available for adoption, and kind of start that wheel turning. That was my goal, was to reach a new demographic with the fashion hook. But absolutely, it's funny. Like I don't know the Gucci runway for spring 2020. Like don't ask me that kind of stuff. I can put together a cute outfit, and I enjoy fashion and I love shopping. But all my blog posts are about animals, and sometimes about myself because I process emotions by writing. But yeah, it's really a dog blog with a side of.
Christine spends a lot of time working directly with the rescues, and so I asked her if we could do a VH1's Behind the Music so that people could understand all of the behind-the-scenes operations to dog rescue. What would that include, and what would she want people to know? Yeah.
I think I was actually just researching this on my own. Compassion fatigue is a real thing in rescue, and animal rescuers, animal welfare advocates, there's a lot of non-appreciation in the field. You don't see all the 19 steps it takes to get that animal into a home. And I think people are so quick to judge, what's going on and sit behind their keyboard and throw stones at these stories that you hear and such. And I think that appreciation, it really just goes a long way for rescue advocates and those in rescue. So behind the scenes, there are just a million little tiny things. For example, today, there was a dog that came into our city shelter, and we have a program that it's called CRISP, and they divert animals away from the shelter. Okay. It's a great program. And a dog came in, and a rescue said they'll take the dog, but there are like 19 steps. The dog needs to go to the vet. It needs to go to the groomer. It needs to go to a foster home, but the foster home can't take it until it's Sunday. So then it has to have temporary foster. So I might be fostering it.
Oh,
So
wow.
there are, and this is just in the first like 24 hours of this rescue stepping up to take in this dog. So I think having, appreciation for all the amazing and incredible people that are working in rescue goes a very long way, and there's not enough of it. They need to be paid. They need to be doubled their salaries. Some of them don't even get paid. A lot of them don't get paid.
Yeah.
And, I think that's something to know too. I think as someone who used to be like, oh, I want my money to go to the animal. Like now I'm like, no, give my money to the person busting their ass to save these animals because,
Totally.
I mean, they do so much work on behalf of these animals. And it's overwhelming to be the person deciding whether an animal will get a chance or not. And I don't envy that position that they're put in. And I think that they deserve a lot of credit and a lot of recognition. I think that's something I know so many amazing people that are doing amazing work that I want to like give them a bajillion dollars, but I don't have.
We've heard people question about the cost of a rescue, and Christine and I detail what goes into that cost and how much goes on behind the scenes for rescuing an animal.
Right. Yeah. When you adopt from Chicago Animal Care Control, it's $65, and you get your dog spayed, neutered, and rabies. And when you rescue, the same thing. It's usually a little bit more expensive because they usually do a little bit more vetting.
Yeah.
But it's everything has kind of been once over now. There's no guarantees. Nothing will happen on the road, of course. But yeah, it's a vet's just usually checked it out. And when you get a puppy, okay, well, you're spending when you buy a puppy. You can get puppies in rescue. I want to be clear on that.
Yes, you can.
When you buy a puppy, you need to usually it's like what $2,000 for a purebred, and then you gotta go spay and neuter it, and that's $300 to $400, and then it's got its vaccine. So off the bat, you're like $1,000. So logically, rescue is also really financially sound.
It is financially sound, and mutts are healthy.
Yes, mutts are actually much healthier, and they have usually longer lifespans because they're not so poorly bred and inbred and bad genetics. Like greyhounds, for example, they're so inbred because they're bred without champion dogs, and it's not a great situation, and so most of them die of bone cancer.
Oh,
like it's a very highly.
I did not realize that.
I don't want to like throw out any statistics, but it's very common for them to pass a bone cancer because it's genetic and they've all been bred from the same winning dogs.
Oh,
so,
wow.
yeah, so mutts are definitely the healthy way to go.
The last question that I want to ask is the question that we've been asking other rescue advocates as to whether they feel that the Sarah McLachlan ads with "I will remember you," I apologize that I sang, and seeing those dogs in horrific conditions helps the cause of dog rescue or sets it back. And Christine's conversation is really interesting. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that, so I've been telling everyone about this. I love research. So I've been telling everyone recently that when you show really sad images, it's effective to a certain extent.
Yes.
But what I wanted to do was make rescue approachable. And yes, are there sad situations where a dog comes in malnourished or beaten or whatever the case may be? Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's tons of sadness. But there's also so much good in rescue and so much fun in rescue. And especially, Chicago Animal Care Control, it's not the pound that our parents grew up with.
Yeah.
It's a very welcoming place. 94% of dogs that make it in there get out of there and get into happy homes. And I think it's 95% of cats. So we're not that, yeah, it's amazing. We're doing killer, not killer. We're doing really well. But it's not that sad pound Sarah McLachlan feel. I mean, it's overwhelming. There's a lot of barking and there's some smells. It is a lot of dogs.
Yeah, completely.
But I call it my happy place. I go there. I get to fall in love with dogs every week that I get to meet. I I'm obsessed with the place. It's my friends work there. It's welcoming, and you can find your a fun dog to play with. So yes, is that stuff there from Sarah McLaughlin? Yeah, but you have to look for it. I mean, that's not what you're gonna see if you walk into a shelter. That's just not. That's not how rescue is. These dogs, they may have had a really shit past. I don't know if I can swear. You can bleep that out.
There's actually a bark sound effect.
Oh, perfect. Bark it out. So, I mean, some of these dogs have had really bummer backgrounds.
Horrible backgrounds.
Absolutely.
That no one, it should be illegal. The laws should reflect all of that. That's a conversation for another 12 hours.
Yes. Yeah. We got to go to our yappy hour. But, yeah, no, the dogs that come in that are malnourished or whatever history they have, they're not broken dogs. They just need love. They need to learn how to trust, and most of them are already willing to trust right away. And I take dogs out that I have no idea what their pasts are, and they're just like love bugs. So they're not broken. You know, they're beautiful disasters in their own ways, and I love them.
Just socialize.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Or go walk in. I know you're LA based. Wags and Walks is one of my favorite rescues out in LA.
Yes,
Shout out to Wags and Walks.
We are talking to Leslie soon.
Oh,
I'm so excited.
So much fun. My friend Courtney does their social media. She's amazing. Hey, Courtney. Yeah, walk in, go visit their adoption hours, you know, and go meet some dogs. And, you know, if you're in Chicago, Anti-Cruelty Society, you can walk in and just take a dog out and hang out with it in the courtyard. You know, you don't have to be interested in adopting. And then snap a picture of it and send it up on your social media. I swear to you, you know, you just sharing that makes a whole big difference.
Completely. And
a thank you goes a long way. So I want to personally say thank you to every single person I've worked with. You guys are all rock stars. I am so blown away and in awe of everything that everyone does. And yeah, if you work for a company, you can donate a gift card to a local rescue to raffle off, or you know, there's so many different ways that you can just sit in there. You know, you can help.
Yeah, completely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come to the Woof Life show.
Oh my gosh, this has been a blast.
And we have to go get drinks.
Yeah, we have to go yap it up.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to give such a sincere thank you to Christine. I am in awe of everything that she does and admire her spirit with, I think a lot of people could get down in the grind of rescue, and she's so optimistic and full of life, and I'm so excited to see what she does both with Rescue in Style and her new nonprofit, Rescue Chicago. We are the biggest fans at Woof Republic and the Woof Life show, Christine, of what you do, and are so excited to see what that evolves and grows into, and see how many more pets' lives that you impact over time. Thank you again for tuning in to the Woof Life show. Please rate, subscribe, and share this podcast with your dog-loving friends. This is a gift that you can give to your dog-loving friends for free, and it just gives back. And please be sure to give your dog a big slobbery kiss and hug from us. And thank you again for listening to the Woof Life show. Bye for now.